Hey. Okay. So, I'm Gaines. Um, Started this YouTube just to go over like my Air Force journey because I know when I was looking into going into the military, my first instinct was go to YouTube. Like I love YouTube, so I figured like if I can at least help one person, that would be awesome. Um, my name is Gainesville. I live in Ohio. There's not much else to tell you. I'm pretty boring actually. Like it's actually really sad. I'm boring. So, um, I will hopefully be going to the United States Air Force. I will be joining the United States Air Force rather. Why I chose the Air Force, um, I always knew that I wasn't gonna do the 4 year college right out of high school. That's never been my plan. School isn't my thing. I'm just not. Tests, testing, like homework, like no. Standardized testing, how I've always scored like advanced, accelerated, but homework, quizzes, class, no. So, um, so I figured I was gonna go to the military when I was about a freshman in high school. Kind of like play with the idea, like, well, what if I went? What if this? What if that? When I was a sophomore in high school, I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the Navy. My father was in the Navy, so I was like, oh, A1 choice. And everybody in my family was supportive. They're like, whatever. They thought it was just a phase, like, psh, okay, whatever you say, Gainesy. And so, when I was a junior in high school, I figured like I didn't want to do the Navy. The more research I did, the more I realized that it really wasn't for me. So, sorry. Um, and it just wasn't for me. And then the more I looked into the Air Force, the more I realized that the Air Force was more my speed. It's more something that I'm like more interested in. They had things that I just connected. Me and the Air Force, we were right here. That's why I love the Air Force. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much why I want to go. I want to be in the Air Force, and I want to serve our country. And I mean, honestly, most of the people in my family were in the military, so I just was like, why not? It's an experience to have. If I don't like it, I'll still be young enough to do something else. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not gonna, Anyway, so my process so far. Um, First step I took, I was like in junior high school. They start to work with juniors in high school, like especially juniors that are serious, like just to get their process moving. My first step was finding my recruiter. Um, I straight up Googled it. Like there is no magic. Like I did not call around. Like I Googled it. Like I was not about to. I Googled it. I like put like the nearest recruiting station near me. Found a recruiter in Kent, Ohio. Um, Kind of by the Kent State, like the campus, main campus. And so I like gave him a call. We talked for a while. We scheduled a time for us to meet. So the first time we met, we just talked about like my interest in the military, what I want to do in the military. Then he took down my general information like height, weight, whether I have tattoos, whether I have tattoos. What else was on there? When do I graduate? Just like like very general questions. So like I answered them, no problem. So then we scheduled a time for me to meet him to take my practice ASVAB. Okay, ASVAB. What's an ASVAB? ASVAB stands for Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. It's multiple choice. It's used to determine qualifications for enlistment in the U.S. Armed Forces. So it kind of determines whether you're qualified to be in the military. Is literally basic math and English. Like, like fractions. It doesn't go past algebra. Like, it's like fractions and word problems. And if two cars leave a red light at the same time at a different speed, when will each car arrive? Like, stuff like that. It's not hard at all. English is like basic comprehension, vocabulary. using context clues. It's not anything super heavy, like I wouldn't worry about it. So I scheduled time to take the practice ASVAB. That was about in June. I came back to take the practice ASVAB in August. After I was supposed to be studying all summer, I didn't study at all summer. Yeah, all summer I kicked it. Like I did not study at all, which is terrible, I know, but who wants to study math and English in the summertime? Nobody. So I didn't study. Well, I did a little bit, but not really. Can't lie to myself. So I went and I took the practice ASVAB on a computer. And okay, side note, not really, but on the practice ASVAB, he told me I couldn't use a calculator. Since my freshman year in high school, all we've done is use calculators. Like, I don't even think I can do mental math. Like, everything I do is on a calculator. So when he's like, oh no, here's some scratch paper and a pencil. Scratch paper? That made me worried for my life. I don't know if it's like that under ASVAB, but that just really made me worried. Okay, but anyway, back to what I was talking about. So I took the practice ASVAB. For each branch of the military have their own specific qualifications, especially regarding the ASVAB. So for the ASVAB for the Air Force, it used to be that you could score 36 and qualify to be in the Air Force. But since so many people have been wanting to join, they raised the minimal point score to 50. I took the practice ASVAB and I scored around the 70s, which isn't terrible. I was disappointed in myself only because I knew that if I had studied a little or if I like went over some stuff, I would have passed like with an 80 probably. I would have been really happy, but I didn't study. So your recruiter will tell you your score. Usually he'll add about 10 points to your score because the practice ASVAB is usually harder than the actual ASVAB. So So I did that, and then after that we talked, and he asked me what my problem areas were, and then he just basically said, okay, I need you to study for me, I need you to study really, really hard, and to get a bit like a higher score, and then in October-ish, we'll talk about, scheduling you for your actual ASVAB. So here it is. What month is it? It's October now. It's October 1st, actually. Isn't that crazy? It's October 1st. And so in about 2 weeks or less, I'll be calling him to schedule my actual ASVAB. So I should start studying. Okay, anyway, so, oh, so there are a ton. Someone asked me like, what can you score? Like, how can you like study? This is the book that I got to study from. It's called ASVAB AFQT for Dummies. This has been the book that I've been studying from. I've heard a lot about this book. I think it's helpful. It's not a bad book by any means. It's like you have to really focus. They give a lot of study tips, which I like a lot about the book. But you have to like really like sit down and get out some paper and a pencil and like actually do it. Like, and there are websites you can take practice ASVABs, like practice ASVABs, like on websites. There are kind of like study guides. There are like helpful things. So I'll link those in the description box. But yeah, so that's my journey so far. Let me think. Let me think. That is my journey so far. So I'll be calling him like in about a week to schedule to take my real ASVAB, and I'll make another video telling you how I did, what it's like, what's on it. And then once again, like just to like share a little bit of why I decided to do these videos. When I figured I was going to the Air Force, I went to YouTube, and there was a lot of YouTube videos, but I watched them all, and that was frustrating. And I knew there was somebody out there like me who just like watch all the YouTube videos because they're bored and nothing to do with their life. So I figured I could make more people to watch and like to share like about some stuff about the Air Force. And then on top of that, like some of them are like really old. They're like none in 2014. And so I figured like why not make one 2014, 2015 because things change a lot. Like I know the hair quality, like the hair regs have changed. Hair regs have definitely changed. BMT regulations have changed. And like that really made me mad because there were no 2014. Like by the time I go, it'll be a million things have changed and there are no videos out to tell me about it. So I figured if I make a video, then whatever I go through I can share and like share like all of the changes. So that's my goal. What else can I tell you? What else? That's about it. Okay, so something else about the ASVAB. Don't study a month in advance. You're gonna forget. Like I said, on the ASVAB, it is basic like math and English. It's stuff that you have to like brush up on real quick, like how to divide fractions. Stuff like that, like it's stuff that you have to brush up on. It's not stuff you have to like literally study. Either you know it or you don't. I just figure you brush up on it. That's what I've been doing with this book. Like I said, I recommend you get it. I got this from the library. It's really good. Has like a lot of helpful stuff in there. Then like in the back it has practice problems, stuff that you probably haven't done since like freaking freshman year. So it's like super helpful. And then like what else? It has like other stuff. Oh, it tells you like required ASVAB scores for like specific jobs. So like if you want a specific job, it'll tell you like what score you have to get. So say like for weather, you'd have to score like a minimum of 12. Oh, you have to score a minimum of like 66. Between 50 and, no, yeah, of 66. Like you have to score like between a 56 and a 66. That's the average score. For like aerospace ground equipment, you have to score like 56. Like it just shows you like what you have to like what you not what you have to score, but like the range of scores. Then it has stuff like about the Navy. Like if you're not Air Force, like it has like Navy in there. It has Navy, it has Army. I want to say Coast Guard. Then it just tells you like stuff about the military. It gives you like it has a practice exam. There's all that stuff like take practice things and it has the answers and tell you why it's the answer. It's like a little teacher in a book, like a tutor in a book, which is cool. See like right here, it gives you the correct answer and it tells you why that's the correct answer. So I think this book is really helpful. So if you could go to your library and ask for it, I think this is really helpful. But only if you study, because I didn't study. Sorry, my nose is itchy. But alrighty, you guys can put comments and questions in the comment box thingy. And I'll try to answer as many as possible. I know people from my school and people I know have already like asked me a ton of questions. So like I'll answer those in future videos.